Hey everybody, we're making a cup of coffee today. See if you can keep up. That's almost out. We're getting into a big bag of the fresh stuff today. So this cup of coffee I like to make is called a slick ass shaker. There's years and years of history behind it. It's very complicated. I've been making a lot of them lately. And my older brother texted me to get a video tutorial. I need the scoop. There's the scoop. Oh, I forgot to start my timer. So I'm just gonna get this timer going here. Because this cup of coffee is so complicated, I just wanted to see how long it actually takes. Now, I do this every morning. It's pretty inconvenient, but I'm addicted to them, and I have to do it a very specific way. So we're just going to be walking you through how to make a slick-ass shaker today. However, I'd like you to keep in mind, this tutorial is for my older brother, Steve. So if any of you guys try and replicate this, that's not good. First thing you got to do is grind the coffee, which takes several minutes. And I grind it by hand because my roommate bought me this hand grinder for me for my birthday a couple years ago because he wanted me to suffer. And here I am, 5 years later, still grinding my coffee by hand. Fun! I like making coffee. I'm having a lot of fun. Thanks, Calvin. Oh, I should get the water boiling. I do have an electric kettle, which is great, but I'm gonna fill it up with the spring water that I have in a jug in the other room. Okay. Got that going. We can get back to grinding that. Getting close. You can hear those last beans rattling around in there. For those last few beans, you really gotta slow it down. Otherwise, they're bouncing around. You can hear that, see? So you slow it down. Get those last few beans in there. You can hear the water starting to rumble back there. That's a good sign. All right, so I've got the coffee ground. I'm gonna go ahead and put this away. This will come in handy later. So keep in mind I do this every day. We're at 3 minutes already. 3 minutes and 12 seconds. All I've done is I've got the coffee ground and the water boiling. It's very important to use my favorite mug. It's gray, it's big, it's a 16-ounce mug. That's what you want. Oh, sorry about that. I'm not trying to be so noisy. I'm just kind of in a hurry because I haven't had my coffee yet. So next, here, I'll show you me pouring some milk. And now for a while, I was all about the plant-based lifestyle. So I was using oat milk for a while. Always suck that last drop off so it doesn't leave crust on the rim. I really liked the oat milk I was using. One sec, I'm sorry. I was a big fan of the oat milk. Then I heard it's filled with oil and the oil's bad for your heart, and people are saying, oh, every serving of oat milk is the equivalent of eating an order of French fries as far as oil and your heart goes. So I said, I'll just start buying some good milk. The hope being that the cows making this milk aren't being tortured. Anyhow, I used to use oat milk and coconut oil. Now I'm using regular milk and butter. And I use butter in the coffee because I like to have a fat, because then apparently, again, I just read this on the internet, I don't know if it's true, when there's a fat in there, your body digests the caffeine with the fat digests slower, and then you have a slow burn. You are cruising on that caffeine all day. Just like to point out that we are doing this live, and we're 5.5 minutes in. Not very good when you have a job. Okay, we can get that going on the stove in just a moment. Here, maybe I ought to twist this down so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Water's boiling, coffee's ground, you have the fat source and the milk on the stove. And then in a jar, we're gonna mix in a little bit of maple syrup. I like to put in just enough to cover the bottom of the jar. You don't need very much, just maybe a teaspoon or so. Okay, good. Just trying to find some powder, sorry. There they are. Alright, we're gonna really go overboard on the powders today. At this point, the water has boiled. So then there's some more stuff you gotta get out. You gotta get your AeroPress out. And just like that, you can see I'm running out of space here. So the thing with the slick ass shaker is you need a lot of things out. We're gonna hold off on that milk. Okay, right. This thing's hard enough to make when you don't have a camera running on you. This is where you're gonna put your coffee. Right there. You gotta spank the bottom to get all the dust out. Then, just like that, I'm putting something away. We're gonna get that hot water, and we're just gonna give it a little kiss to start. Because you want that coffee to rise up. You want that coffee to rise up. Next, we're gonna start putting a bunch of stuff in the jar. We're gonna put a little cordyceps in there. That's powder. This is powder that's supposed to make you have energy. Then we're gonna put a little cinnamon in. This is powder that makes it taste good and maybe is good for your circulatory system. And then a little bit of cardamom. This is powder that also tastes good, and I bet because it's a spice has some other healthy benefit. Oh, we gotta get that milk going. So let me bring you over here for a sec. We're gonna get that going kind of medium low. And then we're gonna add some more water to the coffee. Uh-oh. Let's see if we can get a better view here. I want you to be able to see my face, but I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. So, you enjoying the telethon? How's it going? You having a lot of fun? Great, okay. So we've added a little more water here. Then you stir it up. Stir it up. Little darling, stir it up. Little darling. Then you rinse the spoon. Remember, every morning, this is what you gotta do, every single morning. And you're gonna add a little more water once more. And now that thing's pretty good to go. And then, with this filter, you have to get that wet, but just a little bit. Oh, might need a little more. Oh, we're dripping. Oh, a little bit of water. Put that on there. And now, just like that, the coffee's almost ready. You can kind of push that aside, just a little bit. Now we'll get back to adding powders and such to this. Oh, we're using unsalted butter, but I like a little bit of salt in my coffee. So another little powder, just to balance it out, that's fun. Normally I would use some cocoa powder, but if you've got good chocolate at home, why not just melt a square in there? Okay, so now you can see, oh shit, I gotta stir this up. You really gotta keep an eye on everything that's going on. Okay. Let's check in on our time real quick. We're at, oh, my mom texted me. We're at 10 minutes. And my mom said, yep, I also got you a parking pass so you can drive in the park. Also want to do observation paint, narrows, and or emerald pools. Do you want me to reserve your neoprene socks and boots? We're planning a little trip. Thanks, Mom. And we're at 10 minutes. We're at 11 minutes. And what was I doing? Making coffee. I wanted to show you what goes in the jar. So let's get a little bit of a better look here. So you got your maple syrup, you got all your powders, and you got some chocolate, and you got some salt. So that's all in there. Let's get the lighting back up to Pit Viper standards. One more, there we go. Okay. We gotta stir this up again. That sounded good. This coffee can probably almost go down. I'm gonna put the water down, back, I mean. Oh boy, a little water. Now imagine if I had a job I was running late to, I'd be in trouble. Haha, that's funny, the job joke. Sorry, I forgot to laugh. Okay, we're gonna flip this, but we're just gonna let it sit for a sec. Just a sec. Push that aside, we'll stir this again. Usually once the butter has melted, then I know it's ready to go in there. Oh, that's hot. So this part's fun. Okay, see this? See this? This is all our stuff. Milk and butter, chocolate and flavored powder. Ooh, I might have scalded the milk a little. That's not good. You pour that in there. Probably because I'm making this dumb video. I mean, oh, whoops. Okay, now we're gonna let the chocolate kind of melt in there. Then, let me bring you over here. Oh, hey everybody. We're gonna push down on this. My neighbor's home. You can see the reflection of their car on my face. Oh, this is a hard one. Usually it shouldn't take this long. Come on. Come on. There we go. And then I like to kind of Squeeze the last few drops out of there. Squeeze it out. And you throw that in the sink. Whoa, whoops. This is why it's called, okay, let me bring you back up to Trevi level. Sorry, Dr. T is what I'm going by right now. I gotta find the lid. So how cool is that to know that, whoops, 15 minutes into your morning, you can have a cup of coffee in a mug. But we're not done yet. This is why it's called the slick ass shaker. Well, it's called slick ass because there's fat in there. Initially it was the coconut oil that made it slick. Now it's the butter that makes it slick. The reason it's called a shaker, I'm going to bring you over to the sink here. Sometimes it gets a little messy. Okay, let's move you around again one more time. The reason we call it a slick ass shaker is because when you're done, shake it. And I don't really feel like you can go overboard here, so I really shake it. And the chocolate should have melted in there. Here's the part I think you're really gonna love. Let's get the best lighting we can for this part. So, oh yeah, right here. We want the good focus, we want the good light. So we got your piping hot cup of coffee, and look, maybe I can fog the lens up with the steam. Come on. Yeah, that's the effect we're looking for. Merry Christmas, everybody. So you got your steaming hot cup of coffee right here. Okay, now I gotta let that unfog before we proceed. Piping hot cup of coffee. You're shooking up stuff in the mug, in the jar. And then you just pour it in there real hard. Comes right up to the rim. Oh. And then maybe I'll show you a compilation of pictures of me sucking this thing down. That should be fun, right? Whoops. Whoa, too much. Nearly knocked me off my feet. That's a good cup of coffee. Woo! Yeah, you gotta try that out. So that's a tutorial for my brother Steven. And if any of you other freaks out there try and use that tutorial, I'm gonna sue you. Let's see how long it took. 17 minutes. We'll pause right there. 17:44. That's a new record. All right, and with that note, first, before that note, I'd just like to point out that I made the cup of coffee in 17 minutes and 45 seconds. But now, remember, I do this every morning. Now I have a dish full of now I have a sink full of dishes and a bunch of powders I got to put away. So I better take care of that before I get to enjoy my coffee. And with that, we'll take you back to our scheduled programming, back to the telethon. Thank you so much for watching. Stay powerful, my friends.